Hi everyone, and welcome to the while loops lecture. So in this lecture we're going to cover 5 different examples of how to use a while loop, and the most important thing to note is how to prevent an infinite loop. And we'll see that in a second with example 1. Okay, so you can see here that I have two variables, x and count. They're both equal to 0. They're both on the same line because we're using a semicolon here. Alright, so let's start off with while x is less than 10, colon. And inside this code block here we'll just do print x, and we'll also have counts plus equals 1. So don't run this code. I just want to show you what happens when we have an infinite loop. So don't run it yourself, just take a look and we'll see how we can fix it in a moment. Okay, so I'm just going to run this now. So you can see that the cell is running because we have a star here, and I have all these zeros here, and that's because of the print x. So x is just always going to be 0, and that means that the while loop is always going to continue to run because this is true, where x is always less than 10. Okay, so to prevent this from happening, we'll fix that in a moment, but we just need to stop this cell from running. So you can see I've highlighted here with this gray line, and then just click as many times as necessary the I button on your keyboard. So the I button. If that doesn't work, simply go to where you have your IPython notebook. So I've got this checked here for the while loops, and just go to where we have the shutdown and just click that. Alright, so you can see I have all those zeros. Let's just toggle the output. And we take a look at the count. So we have 301,070. That means that the count has been incremented that many times during the while loop running. Okay, so obviously the way to fix this issue is just simply increment the x by 1, and then we get the output of 0 to 9, which is a total of 10 values. So that means that the count is now going to be 10, and similarly the x is also going to be 10. And bear in mind that you don't have to use x, it can be, let's say, I. So I can just go to where we have all of them and change it to I or J or K, or you can have something like cake or dog. These are entirely arbitrary values, but normally if you're using something generic, you just do I or X, etc. If it has something a bit more meaningful, then you could do something like, say, money, if you're using financial data, or whatever you're using. Okay, so I'm just going to put this back to X. Let's take a look at the second example. So again, this is just a very basic while loop, but it's going to be in the opposite direction. So it's going to be going down instead of up in value. So X, so while X is greater than 0, and we'll do print count down. We'll do a format here of x, and then we'll do, of course, x minus equals 1, so going down in value, and then we'll do print liftoff, and there you go. So you can see that we have countdown 10 all the way down to 1, and then liftoff. Okay, great. So let's take a look at our third example. So this one's quite interesting because we're converting a for loop into a while loop here. So you can see that we have simply an additions table of 1 plus 1 is 2, all the way down to 9 plus 9 is 18. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just simply copy the whole lot. Just toggle the output here, paste, and we're going to convert this into a while loop. So all I'm going to do is get rid of this for loop line there, and we'll have while, and I actually need to put in I equals 1. So while I is less than 10, colon, and we actually have to, of course, do a I plus equals 1, and we'll take a look at the output, and we should have the exact same, which is 1 plus 1 is 2, all the way into 9 plus 9 is 18. Brilliant. Okay, so let's take a look at the fourth example here. So this might be a bit more practical. So we have years here 1 to 3, so we want to get the summation of all these values here. Let's say this is financial data for 3 different parts of the year, and then we want to add them up, so this would of course be 60 and so on. Right, so all we'll do is we'll have here while x is less than len years, and then we'll do value equals, we'll just have, let's say, sum years x, and we'll print out value, and of course we'll have to do plus equals 1. Okay, so we've got 60, 150, and 240. So we want to put that as a string. So all we have to do here is year and then plus, and then we'll convert that into a string. Okay, great. So, oh, that's missing the formats. So dots, formats, and then we put in the X. Okay, so year 0 is $60, all the way down to year 2 is $240. Okay, great. So let's take a look at our fifth and final example, which is quite a lengthy one. So here we have a dictionary here with different items with different prices. So a laptop is $800 and so on. And we have a basket, and we have a total, and we have X is equal to true. So we're going to have an input here. So what we'll do is have while X is true. So note we're not using a number here, we're using a boolean. And then we have order equals an inputs. So we're going to get an input from a user, add items to your basket. Okay, and then we'll have if order is equal to n, or order not in items.keys, then we'll do x equals false, and we'll do print end session. We'll just call it that. Okay, so the items is simply the value, simply the keys, excuse me. So do items. Oh, I need to run this. I'll just do end. Okay, the end session. Okay, so you can see here that we have our dictionary here. And if I were to do dot keys, we get these. So I can do, for example, a in, right, and so on. So, but for example, let's say I put in something else that isn't in there. Let's say H, it's not in. So then I do not in is true. And that means that X will be equaling false, which means that the while loop will end, because X will become false and then the while loop ends. So let's say, for example, order is H, and order H is not in items.keys, then X will equal false. But if it's something that actually equals something that's actually in the items, so A, B, C, or D, then we're going to get that value and we're going to append it to our baskets. So we'll have here the else, and we'll do basket.append items, and then we do order, like so. And then we want to take a look at the output baskets. Okay, so I'll just do B, then I'll do B, and then I'll do C, and then I'll do D, and then I'll just do N. Okay, and let's take a look. Okay, so we have all these items here. So what we want to do is add up the total value of all of the items that we're going to order in our basket. So the way to do that is simply a for loop. Now we're not going to do the for loop inside of the while loop, we want it in outside of. So we'll do it like this. So for I in baskets, and then we'll have here we'll just do print I for now, and I'll just comment this out as well. So B, C, and we'll just do N. Okay, so we printed those out. So what we need to do now is we need to actually get the values of 720, so we have the total output, the total cost. So what we have is another for loop inside of our for loop. So we can do for k in I, and then we'll do, let's just do print k for now. So I'll comment this I out, this print I. Let's do B, C, D, and then we'll just do N. And you can see here we have phone, mousepad, and skin cream. So what we can do is we can use these key values to get the actual amount for each of them. So what I can do here is I'll just comment this out, and all I'll do is the cost equals I, and then K for the key, And we do total dot append cost, and then I'll just do total for now. So B, C, D, and then we'll just do end. And we take a look at the total. So great, we have all those values here, and all we have to do is just sum them up. So I can simply do T equals total cost plus string sum total, like so. And we just print T. So B, C, C, A, and then let's say I make a mistake and type in H, that will stop it, and we have a total here of 1,540. Okay, great. So that concludes my lecture on while loops. I hope that's been insightful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I will see you in the next lecture. Thanks.